Welcome back to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. If you're just joining us, our focus today has been on the celebration of what would have been Dr. King's 90th birthday. My next guest is a local author who found a way to incorporate civil rights history into the storyline of her children's book, The Stupendous Adventures of Mighty Marty Hayes. It's my pleasure to welcome author Laura Hyler. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me,
Thank you for
Andrea.
being here. And right off the bat, I want you to tell us a little bit more about your background and what
Sure.
inspired you to become a writer of children's books.
Sure. So I started out in radio news, WWM, Milwaukee Public Radio, and also ABC affiliate, WISN. And then also had a wonderful corporate communications career, and I've owned a public relations and marketing company, Hyler Communications, since 2001.
Okay.
Along with that whole journey throughout my career, I've also been a creative writer. So I've written short stories and screenplays and tried to sell screenplays in Hollywood to no avail, but really learned sort of my very visual creative writing as a result of that journey, so that was very valuable. And then I decided to start writing children's books, and so the first one is The Stupendous Adventures of Mighty Marty Hayes, and it's the first in a 3-part series.
I love this. And as I stated, you found a way to incorporate Dr. King in this book. Tell us about the storyline.
Sure. So the primary storyline is featuring multicultural superheroes who are working on the CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing technology in their advanced 7th grade science classroom, and they share a love of spy gadgets. So all those elements are in the novel. And then I really wanted to touch upon some parts of history because Mighty Marty Hayes lives with his parents, his younger sister, and his granny. And I needed to come up with a backstory of how he came about his superpowers, and so I wanted that to evolve from Granny. And I figured since she would have been living during the civil rights era that she would have used her superpowers to help Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
I love
so
it.
that's how those pieces fit together.
All right. And so what I love most when looking at just even the cover, Dr. King would have been very proud of Marty's friends who are all from different backgrounds. There is a multicultural setup of friends. And also, just like his granny, he uses his superpowers for good, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love that. This is the thing. You've also incorporated other aspects of history here and there in this book, which I think is awesome because the kids that this is targeted to, which are middle school age, a lot of this stuff, you know, they may not be aware of. So correct me if I'm wrong, you included Ruby Bridges?
Right.
Okay, and for people who need a little history review, she was the first African American to break the barrier at a school in Louisiana.
I believe it was either Louisiana or Alabama.
Okay.
And so, yeah, she was in a position of, she was 6 years old, which is really scary to think about because she literally had to be accompanied to the school with federal marshals because of just sort of everything that she had to deal with, you know, going through the crowd to get into the school. So I wanted to touch upon that as well, you know, a young girl who really was determined to get her education, had the support of her parents, and was going to do whatever it took to get a viable education so that she can go into adulthood with the skills that she needed. And I also touch upon black spies. Mighty Marty Hayes and his friends are very much into the whole spy gadget scenario. They're huge fans of the International Spy Museum. And so I started doing some research on black spies, and one of the top black spies, a former CIA agent by the name of Odell Bennett Lee, is also discussed in the book. So between Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Odell Bennett Lee, Ruby Bridges, and a couple of others, Josephine Baker, for example, who was an entertainer but was also a spy, and these stories are all in the International Spy Museum. I wanted to just integrate a little bit of American history and just have kids have a fun read, but also learn a little bit along the way. And I'm getting wonderful feedback from kids of all ages and not just middle schoolers.
Well, this book has been described as Black Panther meets Harry Potter, which I find very interesting. So you've traveled all over the country promoting the stupendous adventures of Mighty Marty Hayes. And you were a hit at WakandaCon in Chicago. That had to be pretty cool.
Oh, it was absolutely amazing. It was a 3-day event. It was held the first weekend of August. It was the first WakandaCon that was held. So, of course, it was modeled against other Comic Cons, and then, of course, brought in the Black Panther element. And it was an amazing experience because, of course, Black Panther is like one of the largest grossing superhero movies in history. And kids of all ethnicities love it. And so I had all these kids coming up to me, recognizing that I was featuring a superhero that was closer to their age, and it was just a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So this book, I understand, was inspired by a family trip that you took to the International Spy Museum in DC.
Definitely the spy, definitely the spy gadget element. So I pretty much had decided Mighty Marty Hayes was going to be modeled upon sort of the multicultural environment that my child grew up in, because he was raised in Glendale and his body of friends looked like a little mini United Nations. But then I brought in the science piece, and then the spy gadget piece came across because of that visit. And it was wonderful because I was like a kid again. I was crawling through tunnels, I was going on these spy missions, and so I try to bring some of that energy and fun into the book.
I love it. So you did mention that this is going to be a 3-parter. So
Correct.
I've been kind of like, you know, reading up on everything, and I think you're going to add some girl power to the sequel, right?
Definitely.
Okay, I love it.
I'm very excited about that. In fact, every time I mention that in a setting with a bunch of kids in schools or book festivals, I have them clapping when I get into the girl power piece. So Aisha actually has night vision, and she is central to the mission that takes place in book 1. And I decided for book 2, we would feature Aisha. And so she is very much going to be the main person who is solving the mission in book 2, and I'm finding that girls and boys are very excited about that. So I'm really looking forward to completing that first draft and digging into that story.
Yeah, so we were talking another time, and you told me that kids are running up to you in your neighborhood wanting to know when the second book is going to be out, right?
Exactly. I'm feeling a little bit of pressure. It's all good, it's great pressure, but I love the fact that kids are asking about it. And it's not just the kids in my neighborhood. When I go into schools, often they've gotten an advanced copy of the book, and they're sitting there clutching it, and they're listening to the presentation, and the first question out of their mouths is, when is the next book coming out?
Yeah,
so
because they probably read straight through that, and they're like ready for the next one.
Ready for the next one.
Awesome stuff. And you've gotten rave reviews, so I think it's amazing that you know, you're a local author that's done so many great things in your career, but have found this niche in writing children's books. So what do you think it is about writing books for kids that has really been fulfilling for you?
I am having the time of my life. I say that I was very fortunate that my career has taken me into some amazing rooms. I mean, I've literally worked for major corporations in the area like Johnson Controls and Miller Coors and Quad Graphics and Marquette University and on, Girl Scouts. And even done quite a bit of women's business conferences, including Harvard Business School. But nothing has been as fulfilling to me as writing creatively and sending this book out into the world. And it was all very coincidental that Black Panther came up at the same time. I had no idea that that was going to hit when I was writing this book. So it's almost like the stars aligned and everything that came together at the right time. And I'm really using this platform now to encourage kids to write their own stories. We really need to have kids of all ethnicities and cultures and sexual orientation and different immigration statuses to see themselves reflected within the pages of a book. So I'm having a great time, and I'm also just listening to the kids and really learning from them.
I couldn't agree with you more, because we always hear that reading is fundamental, but it's not just fundamental for kids, for adults as well. So that leads me to this question. What authors really inspired you along the way?
Well, I'm having a wonderful time because I'm able to read a lot of children's books. I take a lot of inspiration from them. So I started out as a child really being inspired by all of the Pippi Longstocking books by Astrid Lindgren, and then Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and then as an adult got into Maya Angelou and philosophy, Khalil Gibran. But now I'm reading a lot of children's authors. I'm getting a lot of inspiration from that. And so I'm just reading all the time, but being very careful not to get unduly influenced by children's authors who write similar to the way I write. So I'm just reading a variety, and I'm having a great time with that.
Yeah, it's nothing better than to be able to, to find that thing that you love and be able to, make a living off of it. So you've done that, and I really think that this book has so many strong messages, like I said early on, just even from the kids who are of different cultural backgrounds, but also you deal with bullying in here, and that's a huge thing these days. So there's something for kids to take away from every part of this book.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I find, by the way, that bullying is, I can just sort of see the faces drop when I start to describe the characters, and I describe that there's a bully in the story who is a superhero. He's got superpowers. He can open up a dictionary and memorize the words within minutes. But then I say that bullies don't always stay bullies. So there is a character arc for the bully, and he actually becomes part of the team, and he's part of the mission, and he becomes a good guy. But it is really disheartening when you see that kids are very much relating to the fact that bullies are around, and you know that they are in existence in almost every school. And so I love the fact that I'm taking the kids on a journey, and that it really ends up being great, not just a great adventure, but there's some really interesting life lessons within. And then they give me a lot of feedback about what they get out of the story. And so there's a lot of things that I would not have even expected that I am now finding that the kids are finding very funny and exciting, and they're having a great time with it, so it's very gratifying to me.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I am so happy that we were able to have you here to just let everybody know that this book is here. You live right in Glendale, and so, when you talk about supporting our local authors and artists, it's so important to do that. So this is definitely one I think that parents should add to their kids' collection. So
thank you very much for having me.
Continued success.
Thanks.
It's been a pleasure. Laura Hyler is a resident, as I said, of Glendale, and she's the author of the children's book, The Stupendous Adventures of Mighty Marty Hayes. It's found at bookstores everywhere. You can visit her website at laurahylerauthor.com. That is going to do it for today's show. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. As always, I thank you for watching, and I do hope you join us again next week as we take another look at Our Issues Milwaukee. Have a great day.